case something
So
inspires
we
you.
have
Get a new outfit.
driver, we can't do VIN number.
Where
Erica has
towards
two
the
of my
top,
dresses.
is
I'm
it?
thinking, what do I have at Erica's?
Yeah,
we already did that, okay.
Tonight.
I'm sure it is.
We got that
From
one.
a couple holiday parties.
We got
Because we had borrowed it one year and
Can't
then
do
she
driver.
wound up wearing them.
Renewal.
Well, see, we're different. At the bottom, can you launch equipment for just a sec?
I could probably
I'll
tell
put
her,
it
you
in
could probably
maybe,
bring those back to me, you don't have to keep them solid forever.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that.
We have
What
something,
goes to this
but
Christmas
it's gotta be in a date.
What if I should
You know,
tell
it has
them?
Tires,
we
yeah.
would have to somehow do
Suit
12/31,
slacks.
2017, you know,
Okay.
or 12/1 if you wanted it to be the 1st of December. So it's actually a
Yeah.
date field that has to be an MDB, you know, kind of one of those things. So we don't have a text field for that.
Oh, I think he has black
We would
jeans.
need, to replace
I
that
mean,
with,
the only reason he wore his
you know, 12/01.
he's only used his suit as far as I know as his Halloween
So
costume.
they all expire in
That might be
December,
another reason.
obviously.
I don't know how I do that, so maybe we just leave that one out.
How about a fine price? Just a
Oh,
simple
that's
text.
easy.
These are
Yeah,
good, they have like a peanut butter something inside of them. Like a candy or.
So let's go ahead and just, this is the last one.
Uh,
I need a little wider.
I'm too short.
Go.
Not that I need it, but.
There we go.
Okay,
Maybe get back on my
And this will be,
routine.
so December, we could do
Trying on
12/01
Holy
slash, it's probably this year.
You get in and get out. Stretchy pants look too small.
oh,
Okay, and replace, this would do
That's pretty sad.
those. Now, I saw one for February. That would be maybe 02/01/18. So one of those.
I gotta reform that.
And then I think that they were all December besides that, for whatever reason.
All right. Oh, boy. This one.
And we want actually,
We're doing
Ah,
produce
I see,
delivery
with the
now,
date.
so.
That makes it
Oh, pretty good.
default mask, so I need to.
For the most part,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's
yeah, so that special one is coming
sometimes,
into
but you can
play.
customize
It's
it.
weird that
between-
this doesn't,
And it forced me to cook.
See what I'm saying?
more
It doesn't
produce
have the
in our-
MMDB, it has that, that's some other combinations.
but look at the preview.
Pretty creative with it. I
It's weird.
usually just see what
And
we
so
get
those
and then
special,
I customize it most of the time, but sometimes I don't get.
then we
And then
can,
we'll get stuff.
or
Like,
customers,
oh, let's charge what you do with that.
do we have that one left over from the last time?
Yes,
Yeah.
Writing stuff. Yeah.
That's a good one.
There we go.
That's-
And I
Okay.
really not cooked a lot
So
of the starch,
then
but we
that-
like it, and I.
In our little
Just the other
template
night,
is
it
right
was like
after
slice
license
vinegar,
number,
well, my sauteed
license
some
expiration
garlic, some
date,
Garlic and
one to,
shallot,
right, oops,
and then you
next.
Oh.
put in you cut the stems out,
There we go.
And then the
you
state,
saute those first.
to-
till they're
to-
tender,
to-
and then you add
they're all washed.
Wash it in, we can default that.
And then
um,
put in the rice wine vinegar.
Okay.
Steam those a little bit.
okay.
and then serve it. So it takes-
What else we got in that thing? Driver I can't get because I don't have my number. But, anything else we're
I was
missing?
wondering, fleet, do we want that as a UD field for checkbox if it's fleet or not?
That would be nice. We'll take it.
And does that mean that enterprise fleet,
Mhm.
thing?
No,
No?
it's different.
No.
That's
Oh.
a different field.
Oh.
Fleet is if it's on the fleet for the Department of Licensing for the state of Washington.
Oh.
Yeah, that's different, a different field,
Gotcha.
or different information. It's for licensing for DOL.
So we can certainly have as many UD fields as we want, because it's got different functionality, we would.
So we call it like DOL fleet or something?
Do we already have a UD field for whether it's subject to enterprise or not?
No, we might need to add that too.
Oh, yeah.
So like have an enterprise fleet, yes, no, DOL fleet, yes, no.
Mhm.
And is there like I'm just trying to think outside the box, is there like an enterprise number or code that's used?
Yeah, she had them on the bottom of her list.
Oh, it's just one code though
There
for all?
was a code for the enterprise fleet number, and then there was a code for the DOL fleet number. So we could use those numbers. with
And those
the
are
little-
duplicated though across all?
Yeah,
Because it was just one number down there,
Yeah.
or two numbers.
yeah, they're like our firm ID,
Count
firm
number.
ID or something like that.
I gotcha.
So you could use those and then have just a toggle box to flick it on or not. What do you think? And then you can, in your little how-to, when you click on it, it says what that box is for. It would say, you know, it's in the fleet or it's in the enterprise
So we
account.
haven't talked about this yet, but there's, you can do UD fields with drop-down lists.
Mhm.
Because most of the UD fields we've been making are just text files, which aren't very good because what you see is what you get, and people can put whatever they want in there. So what I can show you how to do is a UD drop-down list, and we'll put, well, unfortunately we deleted it, we'll have to go back to that original to find out, and then we can put that in there. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And then that's your choice.
Yeah, because first we're gonna have, do we want that though? Because you're gonna have a checkbox, whether it's,
But blank could mean it's not, and then if you grab, or you could have one of your choices be.
Well, you could make it yes, no, or something like that. But in Maxwell, they're called verified fields. So if I've created a drop-down list and the user defined, then it's called a verified field, and then you put all your verification choices in.
Yeah, that's, which is what that little drop down list.
So when I was out there
Yes.
checking in with the service department, they said, could I please report to you that there's some Maxwell problems? And I said, oh yeah, this guy doesn't do Maxwell.
Unfortunately,
They
I'm
want
in
me to,
denial
they
about
want, no, not
Maxwell.
to you, Will, to Dawn.
no, I know. That's why I'm shaking my head, because that's what they do. They'll pull straws from any area they
It's
can.
just so funny. They're like, can you tell your guy in there that we're having some
Maxwell
Maxwell
is
problems?
messed up.
I'm like, yeah, he doesn't
And
do
there
Maxwell.
are-
I already went down that
There
path.
are a few Vista consultants that came from the Maxwell world, just because when they started pulling the plug on Maxwell, they got cross-trained to Viewpoint. So I worked with a product called Timberline for over 10 years. So I'm kind of, when I do the conversions for that, I can help them on their old stuff just because I did that for so long. But I'm
But
not
not
really.
when it's, not when it's the whole
Maxwell
system's
expert.
down at a company.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna jump in there and fix everything.
Yeah, I'm not a Maxwell expert, whereas my other product.
Well,
I was an
especially
expert
back-
in, But,
back office
all I know is what I know.
No, I'm done playing triage. We just need to hurry up with this. So we could just get Maxwell. I have so many hit and miss issues.
Okay. So, UD field for this thing is what we're thinking?
Oh, yeah.
A enterprise fleet UD field or multiple UD fields.
Yeah, I was thinking we need the check boxes for the yes, no for this part. Just the way I'm looking at this, we have yes or no on this, right? And then we're gonna have yes or no if it's an enterprise. Would all of them be yes?
So what are we, with that whole fleet thing?
We're doing, that's if they're on the fleet for the DOL renewal. It's different than the enterprise fleet.
Okay,
So we were just gonna put a checkbox. I suggested putting the firm ID for the, if they're in the enterprise. And
their
then
enterprise number?
And then the fleet number. So our fleet code
Thank
and
you,
our
the checkbox.
enterprise
There's
code,
three
and then it would just have a yes,
And
no.
then
or
next
no.
to it, the
no.
drop down list.
And then that way you
no
can-
drop down list.
Oh,
Filter and pull that
Would
out
just
of the
be your
system.
checkbox
Okay.
field, checkbox field, because you won't put anything in here unless this is checked, and really this is just going to be a number.
but you always want to choose the same number. Does that make sense?
No, the number is gonna be the descriptor on the box.
Oh, okay.
So it's gonna be the hard-coded information,
Yeah.
that's gonna be
So you don't
beside
have a
your,
number.
beside
Yeah,
your toggle
the
box.
description of the checkbox.
Yeah.
Okay. We certainly can do that. So you say, Don, so you sound like a broke record, let's get back in there. Viewpoint
And then when you
administration.
hover over the box, it'll tell you, you know, this vehicle is, you know, on the enterprise account, or this vehicle is in the fleet renewal at DOL. or
And it
however
could be
you wanna
both
say it.
yes or or both no, or one yes, one no, right?
Does it need to be yes, no, or can it just have a toggle, like a check mark? I mean,
That's what I mean, check mark, sorry.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so we'll do F4. Okay, so this will be DOL fleet, YN.
Perfect. EYN.
Next. Now, we wanted to put the number on here though, didn't we? DOL fleet, yes, no. and then-
Yeah, Margaret had it on the bottom of that Excel list.
I have to go back and grab that.
Oh, do you want, because I had
Yeah.
to delete it. I can give it to you real quick.
Okay. Where do we want to put it on here? DOL fleet, yes, no, and then the number?
Yeah, so whatever we type in there will be sitting right to the right of that. So if it's DL fleet number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it would be sitting right there next to your checkbox, so.
F is in Frank, 046002.
Something like that. Oops. Like that. So down below?
Yeah.
That look good?
Mhm.
Okay.
I think the number should be in front of the yes, no, though.
That's not on there, formatting wise.
Yeah.
Might as well put it in here too. This is if you're in the grid view, that's if you're in the tab view.
I gotcha. Something like that.
It's not as juicy today as yesterday's was really crisp. Hello? Hello?
Add it to the template, okay. Now, not one. Excuse me.
Oh, I get another number.
Okay.
Over.
Oh,
Oh, here she comes.
I'll look it up. Oh, for
Hmm?
the enterprise.
Enterprise fleet number.
As I'm just start to jump in there and see if I can look it up.
I don't know if I would, so the enterprise, so with enterprise, you have, so you have vehicles that are leased and have a specific number assigned to them. And then you have vehicles that are just on the maintenance program, or they would be leased and on the maintenance program, or they would be just on the maintenance program. But there's no set enterprise number for everything. Each vehicle has its
Okay.
own unique.
So why
So does
don't,
enterprise
why don't we just, instead of saying enterprise fleet, why don't we just be more generic, like, excuse me, I got a couple skin in my throat. Fleet program, yes, no? Because then that way, if we ever change
Change from enterprise.
vendors, we're not hard-coded with enterprise in our system.
It's like fleet maintenance?
So do you, well, that's
Maintenance
the,
program or?
Well,
that's
I'm
the thing
thinking
is you don't
A
have,
third-party fleet something
Well,
that's more
yeah, so I
generic
mean,
sounding.
yes, or a leasing, because like I said, you have vehicles on there that are leased and on the maintenance program, and you have vehicles that are just on the maintenance
I'm
program.
thinking, since we have a place where it's already categorized as leased or not, right? We already have that separated, so this would be more of, is there a checkbox somewhere where if it's on a maintenance program?
No, we could do that.
No, but we do want to know if they're being managed through the enterprise account or
Mhm.
not. So,
Okay.
but I'm thinking they're basically a fleet management
How about
vendor.
fleet managed? Meaning vehicles fleet managed, yes or no? Right?
Well, I mean, again, it's a matter of whether or not you want to flag it as a leased vehicle.
We have that separate.
That's already in
You
the
don't
system.
Okay, so that is, so whether or not it's on the
Change
maintenance
third
program or
part,
not.
the
What about
UD
if they're
to
under a
third
fleet
party
program or
fleet,
not?
leave this enterprise, because I can
If
always
we
change
do
this,
that,
but I can't
then
change
just as long
that.
as it's understood that if it's marked
That's
yes,
the
then it's on the
embedded
maintenance
interior
program.
ID for that
Oh,
number.
So you want it
So
specifically
if I
under the
call
maintenance?
that third party fleet, I could, if you guys change this, we could change the description, but I couldn't change my embedded thing. Does that make sense? If you guys are big
Yeah.
away from
Yeah, makes
enterprise
sense.
to another third party one, I can easily go in here later and change.
Yeah, see, that's
just the
kind of more of
description,
what
but
I'm
that's the
after,
embedded
because
thing.
there's other vendors that have,
Mhm.
you know, tried to quote
Yeah.
what we do with enterprise, and at
And I
some
could use the
point,
change thing on that.
we may get a
Gotcha.
better deal through a different vendor, and we may choose to change.
Yeah, and so what he's saying is, so this is hard coded kind of, this gets stuck in the
Right.
Behind the
that's a
scenes in
unique
the
record.
database.
Yeah,
This right here can be changed at any time. We can go in and just rename it.
okay,
What you see is what you get, and I can
So-
rename that easily.
okay.
So either
then-
way.
Yeah, so that's fine,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the way to do that.
all right.
This for next. Oh, I forgot to put documents. Then we got a back button. Oh. There we go. Is legal part of maintenance?
Maintained by enterprise.
We can change this stuff at any point in time if you went to a different vendor.
Yeah, does that sound okay, you think? Okay.
Makes sense. Okay. So then that.
Okay, we did find out that the little script that says enterprise fleet, that piece can be changed at any time. It's the
Okay.
back piece that is the third party fleet.
Okay.
That's hard coded in the system, so we can change the actual description.
The description.
part in the
Okay.
front at any time.
Okay. Back to here. I guess I should place it. Let's go up to equipment.
Another cold day.
You can't do a shift or anything. You have to move as a group, they're all individuals.
No, unfortunately, very unique little
So with
kind of things.
John wanting those Greenfield invoices paid, the asset
Okay.
commercial credit
Uh-huh.
regarding the
That's,
animal shelter. So it goes up,
inform.
the new 10th check run goes up to 410.
Oh, because those weren't in
They
our
weren't in
original
there.
list.
Okay, enterprise fleet.
I don't know why, they should have been. And had that conversation. She
Yeah.
says it went up 49,000. She says I did take out more, so she must have
Traded out.
offset some things. So she's asking if she can print the checks, but how can she print the checks if Maxwell is down? I'm gonna start charging you.
Wow.
I
Wow.
have
Horrible.
I have 8 risks, that's all I can say.
I mean, if we print the checks, it's not like we couldn't.
Right. We just need to make sure that we fill it out.
So then in our database,
Yeah.
I need 2 columns, don't I? For that.
Mhm. So this one's gonna be DOL. And, oh boy, I already mapped all those, didn't I? So maybe I'll put it at the end.
Yeah, we'll probably.
Just to get it in there.
Yep.
Right. And this will be enterprise. Okay.
Okay. So over to the left, we'll find replace yes with capital Y, no with capital N. And that'll take care
If
of.
it's blank, I'm just considering it a no.
You're,
True, we have to, we have to get the value.
yeah, I would just do, if it's blank, I would, oh, you mean over on,
In a yes.
on the Department of Licensing Fleet, so scroll down, what's coming up as a no?
This one right here.
Go to the, okay, so that one's correct. What's that one there?
Yard black flatbed.
Nope, that one should be on the Department of Licensing Fleet. And then
Shop truck.
that's a yes.
I know.
This was, yes,
Stacy's.
yes.
I'll just check.
Yeah, so everything will need to.
That should be, nope, that should be a yes.
Oh.
So the Department of, so this is an older field that I wasn't necessarily maintaining.
Oh, okay.
So that should be yes. That should be yes. I think the only one that's not on the thing is the one vehicle, everything else. And then, yes, and then, yep.
And then the trailers and everything would be no.
Those would be no, and the Jetter, the 606 would be yes.
Jetter.
Yeah,
Yes.
it gets a license too.
And these would all be no. Right.
Yeah.
Actually, 213, hold on, I can double check here real quick, because I just,
Trailer.
The Mirage trailer gets a license.
is most
But the
likely,
forklifts, no. We don't let people drive those down the highway. Forklift races.
Well, Carbonado.
Yeah.
We-
yeah,
we-
well, probably have forklift races, probably sell tickets to it.
We got handcart
It's
races.
like Concanelli, they have outhouse races.
We got the handcart races.
yeah, so 213 and 606 are both yes on the fleet Department of Licensing. So,
213 and 2 what?
yep, that's a
And
yes.
the Jetter.
Yes, and yes, no, no, yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So then we'll change all the yeses to Y, and that'll be good.
And the one no to an N.
Get this first.
Oh,
Come on. Why?
And then I got one no in there.
That's an N.
And everything else is good to go. Now for the other one, which is the enterprise yes, no. How do we know the value for that?
We got good stuff in here. 50. Trees.
Ask Gary if Maxwell will back up. She says yes for me anyways. He hasn't said anything out. I just tried and got in, so I'm taking advantage of it. Like, hopefully he doesn't kick you out when you're punching your
In the
check.
middle of something, yeah.
Or a front screen.
Enterprise.
Oh my God.
Enterprise lease. Enterprise lease.
So,
Not for enterprise.
so again, what I would basically say is, do I have a good list? So with enterprise, that's going to be more associated with the maintenance program.
We have another maintenance list we can bring up. And I can tell you about that, the one that Kayla updates for me.
Oh,
The
yeah,
vehicle
yeah, yeah,
maintenance.
yeah. The under the enterprise?
Yep, it's under the enterprise folder in the Y drive.
I can tell you. Yeah,
Okay.
I can go.
Okay, and then there, I think I have her breaking it up. There's tabs for each division, but it all summarizes on the main tab.
Yes.
That's one she sends to Kim each month.
Well,
Okay, so,
and then capital and on those other ones for sure.
Mhm.
And then the question is which other ones would need to be. And for credit,
the only ones.
I think this means it's not leased, but it is maintained,
gotcha.
so it doesn't really describe it.
So what I would say is that you could mark all of them yes.
Did
The
that.
ones to take off that are not on the maintenance
Mhm.
would be number 17, which is
Kim?
Kim's personal. That's a no.
Enterprise lease though.
So it's leased through Enterprise, but it's not on the maintenance. That's what I'm saying is it's not on the maintenance program. So his isn't on the maintenance program. Stacy's Audi is not on the maintenance
I
program.
gotcha.
The Mini is not on the maintenance program,
Okay.
and Dave's truck. So
What about the Yukon in Arizona?
No.
no,
Mhm.
that's a no. 2 up, 90 is a no. Where's Stacy's?
That's what I'm saying.
Audi is down.
Is
Nope.
it down?
It's 89.
95.
Oh, 95?
95.
Okay, it's 89.
89 was Ryan. And then
Oh.
100, which is Dave's. Dave Goday's. I believe that is.
Willie's is maintained?
Willie's is now maintained.
Okay.
Everything else, and then the trailers and the jetter down below would be all no's, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got her.
That's good.
So,
So now we can save that and map that to our template.
this. Not the same one?
Great. Now at the very bottom, if you scroll to the very bottom, there's 2 new ones. Okay.
So enterprise is 16. And the other one, oh, I just saw it.
Be sure to hold check, go to the right for just a second here. You usually, let's go ahead and check all these update columns, just in case a secondary import, if that would be unchecked, it wouldn't update. It would only write them to them the first time, but it wouldn't update them the second time if you wanted to do that.
Gotcha.
So that's what that little update column, it isn't checked by default when you add a UD field. Okay, so let's kind of head up to the top and see where we left off up in our mapping, up in our import template. Okay, so we're going down our list of stuff. Revenue code notes, operator, I can't really do it because I need the number and not the name. So that's snooker to me on that one. Scroll down a little bit, the job will be updated. Okay, license plate number 5, Washington expiration date, we got in there. None of that stuff's in there, none of that. Fuel type, we don't have any of that, none of that.
So is that expiration date for the tabs? Is that what that's for? Can you update all those, so instead of them saying 2017, they say 2018? So I don't have to manually go in there and change them all next year?
No, that's right, we won't implement by then. I gotcha.
On the main
Find
sheet.
place.
So change that renewal, and I would, if you can change it to 12/31, 12/31/18,
Okay.
except for that, you've got that one blue, which is a February,
Do they expire on 12/31?
yes.
Okay. hit find next, sometimes sometimes the weirdest thing, it has a hard time finding it.
That's why.
Oh, it has doesn't have the 0.
Oh, I see, said the blind man.
And then if you can leave that one there.
Not 31?
No, that has a different
Oh.
date.
Well,
28.
it would still be you could change it to 28,
It's end of month, then okay.
because technically, I mean.
There we go.
And then if you scroll down to the, if you can drop in 12/31/2018 on there also, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Looking good.
Okay. On that, so
So let's-
this.
Yeah, let's go to my template for just a sec. Okay, now this is, remember how yesterday was finicky with a couple null values?
Mm-hmm.
This one plays kind of the same game. So let's go down a little bit further. What can't, number of axles, keep going down. We can update this stuff later. Down a little bit further. Expected life. It needs something here. So it's just a reportable thing, doesn't drive your appreciation. Let's go ahead and put,
Can you just do 5 years?
like 60s.
So it goes in,
yeah.
60.
So deselect those things. Oh, expected life time frame. 60 here.
So would it be a yes,
And this
no?
other one would be
Default.
a default. And then it doesn't have to have a sold date, we could update that later. Replacement cost, we've got all that stuff mapped with all the new details.
Okay. Let's see, here's your leased from. So that leasing information, you
Yes.
say enterprise, right?
Yeah.
Separate fields for all that.
Yeah, and that way I would have to go in there and literally
Grab the vendor off the
update
vendor
with
list.
everything that we have.
Okay, let's get that out of whirl. So we'll save that as a tab delimited text file, please. In our little imports, nicely done. And that's vehicle list A. Perfect. Okay. All right, import. Oh, it's EM. This is just a temporary file. We'll call it EM.
This one might
At
be though.
4, we'll find our EM equipment mapping. Browse to Mr. Final at the top. And execute. Okay, so let's go in and look and it's taken so long.
All those UD fields. Maybe it's having the same problems Maxwell's having.
Well, every once in a while, remember in Excel when you went down to the bottom and it hit 6,000 something? Remember that one time you went to the bottom of the spreadsheet and you were shocked how far down you went? If Vista is looking at that and there's a bunch of blank rows, it's going down and looking at all those blank rows.
I got you.
I think that's why it's taken so long, is it's going down below. You've only got, what about a year, 100 items on that list. But I think it's gone through 6,000
Yeah, it
lines.
seemed like there was something weird when it jumped like that.
Looking to the bottom of that
Mhm.
spreadsheet, we saved it. I believe the little sticker, usually that's the usual suspect when I see this thing going forever. It's like, there's something in that spreadsheet. It's looking to the bottom of almost infinity. But it'll eventually be done, but it's tedious to wait for it to finish looking to the bottom. So it's going down to line 6,000 and something.
60,000, I think.
Something.
Yeah.
So that's usually why it's taking a long time on this little stinker.
Will, can I ask you a question while this is doing its thinking?
Sure.
On the startup form, we had Erica add on the burden rate, drop down where it says 0%, 20%, 40%, or whatever, or 12, 20, or whatever it is. There's 3 rates. What I thought was going to happen is that would become a required field. But what's happening is, like, Kim sent a startup yesterday, he left it blank. So I had asked Erica, I said, is there any way to make that required? Because the goal is that they would have to now pick a rate because they keep leaving it blank.
Gotcha.
And she said she thinks there's a way, but she's not sure how to do it.
You can make it as an XLS, XM, basically an M, so macro enabled. And I think that's the only way, well, there might be another way, but that's the way I know how to do it, I guess. Do you know of another way in Excel?
Oh, I wasn't, I was looking up my little error, I was listed that.
Oh.
thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
He's got bigger fish.
I was like,
Let's close out of here for a second. I can see there was 65,000 records it was looking at.
is that what it said?
Yeah,
Hmm.
so close out of here. So
There
there's that
Oh, yes, there it is.
65,000.
So there's multiple tabs on our sheet. Is there a chance that it's trying to go out there and look at the other tabs?
No, it's
Do- Yeah, we'll open up final. There it is. And maybe, so,
I need just to open the other original.
yeah.
This one.
So you might want to get rid of closed vehicles and sold vehicles because we're only
Delete
trying
those
So we
to.
got grouping too.
And you've got grouping.
That plays havoc with it.
Yeah, let's go to the very first, let's go to the bottom. If we can hold our shift and then, what's that little thing that got us to the bottom? There you go, right click, and
Delete.
then let's delete all of those lines. Get rid of those. Now, let's get our groupings out of there, and because it should be able to run through 80 or 100 of these in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if I do.
There's only 78 lines and a header line.
I'm just gonna do something real fast to make
Copy
sure.
that to a new sheet.
I guess I could do that too, huh?
Yeah. And then we'll just save this sheet. When we go down to tab to limited text, it just does this anyway. Did we lose any formatting? Maybe the date fields will take a peek, but if everything's good, we're good.
Where is
Yeah, the renewal date didn't hold its date.
this?
All you gotta do is highlight that and change it to date. Yeah, date.
Yeah, we gotta do this because it doesn't have the right,
Oh,
for some reason. There we go.
That looks good.
That's on my February then? Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So let's save this. And now the file save as.
It always looks to the current sheet.
Override that tab to limited thing. Because yeah, when you're on that sheet, the error message will come up saying, hey, if we don't support multiple sheets, I'm only pulling this sheet down. It's like, good. The other one was killing me. So now let's close out of here. And I got a tab to limited text file that will import much faster. So, okay. So now let's go grab the newly, yep, that's when you save, oops, with date up top. That's your text document. And yes.
Back to put it out.
Oops.
Oh, let's do something.
Is that spreadsheet closed?
Yeah.
Okay. It's not reading any data, it's just spinning. can you close out the area? It's gonna let you, you're stuck there, and it'll spin. Uh-oh.
I told Sean about the fact that we're gonna purge my office. Yeah, Margaret was threatening to send pictures home. Drag it home.
What did he say?
He said, it sounds like Margaret and I would get along.
So that's
But I
not
did tell him I got rid of my
responding. Here,
pants.
can we just close out for a second?
I said, by the way, have you bought my new one yet? So I'm like, I'll get them.
With
Relaunch
lids.
our,
Well, because I guess he's buying some that thing.
yeah, it's gonna get you
Oh.
down, but,
I'm like, well, then why didn't I buy them?
Pick them up and then you get rid of
okay.
them. You don't purge and then buy.
Make it.
Okay,
I was
now let's go
about
over the
coffee
first
cups.
steps.
Because it doesn't matter if all you have
And
is big
import.
beer stuff. At least it's
That one's mapped already,
ridiculous.
and EM.
For Christmas, I'm gonna buy you a whole coffee cup set, like a set of 4.
That's it. Now we can browse
And you know what he likes to drink out of is the,
top one. And
Right.
execute.
yes,
The red,
the mason jars.
oh, the mason jars.
That's better than a silver.
Yeah, so if you open my
Set of
cupboard,
a-
he kept the mason jars.
Same thing.
And I have just a few cups left.
Did we close out of it ourselves?
You
We
didn't
did.
even ask.
Yeah, we did.
He did.
Right. Remote cell.
I mean, if you're gonna, I'm gonna purge something that's someone else's, I'm gonna say, can I get rid of this?
Oh, what mine is his.
Yeah.
He's so warped mind.
What you
that
should
the
do, what you
owners
should
are-
do,
Can we open that
literally take all
notepad?
of the
Take a little
mason
peek
jars
there.
and just put them in a box and like hide them somewhere. And then, or leave them like one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, I purged those. You only
I
need
don't-
one.
You told me that.
You'd probably be like, okay, next thing you know, there's a whole other set in there and then you got the
Yeah.
other one.
I wouldn't do that. Then all of a sudden I come home and half my closet's purged. My shoes. Things to find
Let's
prices.
go to the bottom. I think this would be a nice tidy thing. So,
It is.
okay, so that's it.
Because it's like every time I purge the
Limited
closet, it's
text.
kind of
Let's
like
go
a
to the
reach
top of the
over.
header. I have one
You know?
header thing in there. So that's,
Oh, I see, 1,
Department.
2, 3, 4, license number, okay.
Yeah.
Renewal, description, driver, VIN. I didn't bring the notes in. Did I take the notes out?
no, we just didn't map to it. That's fine. We just,
Oh, I did.
oh, we didn't.
I did map to it, yes.
How come they're, I mean, are you just looking at it in Notepad?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just looking at the raw data.
Delete, yes. Yes for G2G. Yes for license.
Okay. So, cancel auditor, present the section, it's okay, I don't have a problem with that. Let's go back into Vista's template. So let's look at our template and make sure it knows where to go. So let's go to our steps.
What's that?
Okay,
Do you
so
like the purge?
let's go to E.
Oh, trust me, I
Good for me.
I would have a set, like,
So, the equipment
check
company is
what do you
looking
smoke,
there.
deal, the deal breakers listed in order at the
Yeah,
top. It's
yeah.
like, you hit yes on any of those, I'm
Level,
sorry. you-
level of priority.
Exactly. They even do speak a little.
Let's
No, it's called on.
click on the default customer group and
It's called
vendor group right here, even though I'm not bringing in any
Well, you know, I
customer
saw
or
on
vendor
Mars, they
stuff.
literally have added this
Scroll
video-
down here,
this video thing
payroll
where you can do,
company's
like, a short
default,
video
GC
and
company's
introduce yourself
default.
about,
and
that has some pros and
Sean and I have been
Down
playing
a
around
little
with
further.
Marley Shop told us about
and
this
we're looking good.
Marco Polo app, and it's
we're
video
looking,
text.
so
and it's a really, like, you just do snippets of, hey, can you
AT
pick up
company,
some
we'll
milk
put our
or
little
something like that,
default
and then when
check
the guy,
in
when the other
there,
person
not that
gets
we're
it,
grabbing any
they just get a
vendors.
quick
AR company, we'll
video.
default that little checkbox
It's like a video chat.
Oh,
Scroll down
That's
just a
Marco
little
Polo
bit
app.
more.
And the guy was telling us about
So
how they try to check in on the father-in-law.
So let's
and in the
cancel
beginning,
out
it's like,
here.
you'd be like,
Now let's import.
you could hear his voice, but I'll skip through
Okay.
his speech.
At 4 p.m.
And he said now he's kind of getting better about
Yeah.
actually showing.
showing it as
Wow.
You could be on the floor.
So that
and
is
when
my
Aunt was
text
in-
file. Let's say that better we just opened.
She'd call on her
It
iPad
opened.
and do FaceTime with Sean sometimes.
Just-
She was so good. Her bangs. I'm like, you talking to your mom?
Yes.
Yeah. And I look over at the screen, like the top of her head.
If I
Restart the computer.
Okay.
I hate FaceTime. I'm like, no,
Oh, I've never used
I
that.
don't ever do that.
I was trying to think, why did it look at the big file so
The whole
long?
thing
Does that make
of like,
sense?
you know,
I
having,
mean, it
no,
looked
no. It's
forever.
funny because, you know, you'll see, what was that?
And this one we
I think it
copied
was
out,
graduation.
pasted
Somebody was trying to
values.
do that whole FaceTime.
Can you do me a favor while it's doing that for just a
But
second?
yes,
We
I don't think they really noticed what
I
their phone was
think,
pointed at.
can we
Like
go,
literally pointed
we're,
down. Application.
yeah, let's go open that, if we can open that Excel
Do you know
one.
what you're really showing me?
Let
But you're not
me
giving them the
update it with a
actual,
new tab. So there's Excel.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I
You need a
don't see.
professional photographer because it's
I can't remember if I did or
videographer.
not. Oh, I did, good.
Sheet 2.
We got weird stuff on the
So
category.
my vehicle is actually in column 1.
Oh, not 2, the categories in 2. I see what's
We
going
did
on.
some grouping changes.
Okay.
We somehow, I lost my first couple columns or something
Mhm.
when I copied that to my other tab,
I got it.
and it can't find anything it's looking for. It's having a little
For
fit.
FaceTime?
No, the Marco Polo.
Oh.
So we might have to do a little bit of
It's
remap.
a little short, little.
Now,
Is it kind of
or we
like
can
a
put 2 dummy
Snapchat
rows in
video
front. If
version
that's
of
all
that?
we do is if we lost 2 rows.
Snapchat is
So
where
go
you
to
just, like, take a
imports
picture
and
and you push it
2
out,
steps
it's
in
only there
template,
for-
please.
I think we might have
certain
put in the
period
wrong
of time
number
where you
for
can,
one.
like,
So hit the
one
template
It's
detail.
not like
Oh, I
a
gotta
still
go to
shot though.
Oh, sorry.
It's not like it's
Yeah.
taking a movie.
You can
into-
do
You can do
Oh,
video.
you can, oh, okay.
Okay, now the equipment it's looking into, there was like a blank row up front.
We need this to be 1,
But there-
category to be 2.
But we gotta change all, if we do this. Does that make sense? Because for some reason, there was a column in front of one.
That's
that
because
is
we had
gone.
those old GLs in front of, in the original sheet there, the first column was the
Yeah,
old GL.
And somehow we lost that.
Okay, so now I have to look from the backwards, let's see, all the way to here. I want to make sure, because now these are in the right spot, right?
15 did we, what's in, so actually, it's 15 is enterprise, yes, no, so we have to back, we're 1 off on all. So enterprise is now on 15.
Okay, so if I put a dummy in
That's
front
what
of
I'm
here.
thinking, is put a dummy, to put, insert a row, or a column, excuse me, and then just
Dummy.
save that, and then go to the very top, let's, now vehicle can go back in
I just asked.
to, perfect. So let's save and save as, tab delimited, and, copy of,
So if someone wants to take
Actually,
additional
we'll,
money out for federal income tax,
Yeah, it's
It's not-
This
FTI.
one really is
yeah,
fine.
it's not,
that's right.
Yeah,
driven
sorry.
off the
It really
dollar
is.
amount of
Okay,
how you'd have to
so
give me a
now-
amount per week, correct?
Let's import.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then somebody's just
And
asking
we'll
for
put
it, it's like,
our
yeah, an extra
equipment,
$250 per
perfect.
hour, it's like, you're gonna have to give me a
And
total
browse
of
to
per
final.
week, the flat rate.
And save and say, come on. What? Did we close it on that? We did. So what happened to that file from the time, I didn't have a problem what it was doing before, because at least it was reading through the records. Now, it's having a hard time even reading those records. How about something changed on the formatting?
We'll do this. Go into here. I am going to take. About this. Everything should be fine, right? I don't like that weirdness there, so. Go here, make it a text. Okay.
Okay, so that appears.
This thing is gonna drive me nuts. Okay. So I'm gonna save this.
Imports, we can call this EM equipment. That's what it is. And save.
And then I'll save as, and make it a tab, copy of the same spot. Okay, close that, close all of this, close this, close program. Uh-oh. I think I may have to restart now. I think I crashed it too many times.
There's a limit.
Oh, it's opening a couple of them now.
There we go. Okay. Let's go back template one more time.
Okay.
EM. And make sure it's looking for a tab delimited file. So hit the top one, hit the info tab. Tab delimited, starting on line 2. And that's good. Okay. And then all of that. Do me a favor, where it says overwrite import value at the top, deselect those 2 checkboxes at the very top. EM company,
This one right here? Oh, just this one.
both those. And put 201 in the user default walkthrough. And hit save. So all I'm doing is hard coding test company to throw it in there, then equipment, then phase group, and I'm good to go. Okay. So EM equipment. We can browse to EQ list. Yep, perfect. Yes. Come on. Thank you. I broke it.
And here we thought just some real easy fields and import.
Between the time they imported tons of lines. This. Do me a favor, let's just bomb out of here for just one more time. So let's cancel and say yes.
I'm trying to
Close.
limit myself back down to
Let's
one.
do one more thing.
I
Go to
drink a lot of
Explore and go
How many do
into
you
that
usually?
My max is
equipment copy,
It's just-
EM
Usually
EQ
one in the
list
morning when you're
copy
getting ready to
of
the-
app.
This one?
Let's right click, open with.
But then I'm having
Notepad.
trouble sleeping, so I'm like, okay, I'll cut
Okay.
it back down.
Let's get rid of the top line.
But-
So just go through the whole top line
Oh, I got you, get rid of the header.
and
I
hit
have
delete.
had coffee after I knew.
And hit delete and now hit file save.
So weird.
I'm getting rid of the header line just in case it's giving me a problem. Launch into Vista.
Your body's churning through the caffeine.
And let's log in, please. And now let's go to our import steps. And go to your template. Let's just go to EM equipment and hit the info tab. Start on line 1. Like there's no headings in it.
Okay.
And cancel out here, import. So I'm going to see if there's a problem. Tab 4. And browse to the newly saved EMEQ list. And execute, say yes.
Did not like it.
What happened to the file?
Yeah, I will say
That's
something
something
that
like
you never have an issue
it.
with.
I don't normally either, so it's like off and on lately.
Yeah.
Like, what is right? Hey Chris, what's a good way to explain tool rentals that hit a job? Like Jared's asking thoughts on actual cost versus what a project is charged. And
That's what
it is the actual
charged,
cost, but I mean, it's not
Well, I think
technically because it's technically
It's a rental rate,
right.
right? And so what's the question?
He's just asking,
Jared Ruth,
yeah,
and what's his question?
what are your thoughts on actual tool cost versus what a project is charged and how that relates to profit?
Well, it's just a function for us to basically charge a rental rate to a job and recoup the cost of the
Of the-
item.
purchase and the maintenance and the handling of it, I mean, all,
Right, so it's just an internal function. So you can tell them that technically on our income statement, the bottom line is 0. So we are hitting the job with a cost, and it does a contra account of it, an offset.
because you say contract.
Easy.
Really like, well,
I was gonna say, we're gonna confuse them more, you're trying to.
it doesn't
explain
offset
something
into
to
the
them.
burden accounts, so it's a wash, basically, sorry, but it's a way to generate costs onto the job that we can then charge our customer.
Right, so technically it's profit.
I mean, I guess an easy term for me that I would think to tell a PM would be that, think of it as Auburn Mechanical has a subsidiary company basically that pays back itself, but other than like if we went to a rental company for all of our tools, right? So really, in a sense, it's our own internal company, which in the end, it hits
It's
our
an
bottom line.
internal generating
rental,
revenue
an internal rental.
through that function
Mhm.
of charging the job and then
Mhm.
being able to in turn charge the client
Yep.
for the cost
Way
of that
recoup-
rental.
I mean, it's a way of recouping our own expense. So it's not, I mean, in theory, it's really not profit. It's just a matter of being able to recoup
Overhead costs.
overhead expense,
Mhm.
Can you do
overhead
that?
costs.
Yes, sir.
Can you go to the bottom and can we see? on
And it's
this-
kind of the
This is our
equivalent
original
to
tab.
The
if we
very,
were to
very
go out
bottom.
and
Yeah,
actually
and
rent
to
that
see
piece
if-
of
and
But
equipment.
it's
so-
not gonna provide
Can we highlight everything
additional
and
profit?
delete one more
No.
time?
Oh, yeah.
It's just gonna offset
I think this is
all
already
our- some of
deleted.
our
See, it
Some
thinks
of the
it's at
overhead.
Well, and if you look at
65,403
the
line.
fact that,
Yeah.
it,
So.
on his
if we
job,
hold-
he's gonna
what
be
is
able
this?
to bill for that.
Mm.
So if
Oh, I'm
he charges
sorry.
Joe
Sorry.
$100 a week for.
So it's just,
equipment repairman, and you
shift,
turn around and bill
control,
that
N.
plus markup,
And there's your
you know, I
64.
mean, it
Right.
does
You would-
give them a.
Let's
You get a
an
slight
item.
delete
profit
all
on
of
the
these
markup.
lines,
But
Yeah.
not
but not the true.
shift
costs
and-
that it's.
entire rows.
So would you like to write a
Let's
paper
do
on
that.
that?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So now you translate that into an
I
email.
think it's an in-person.
It's not getting rid of
You
it.
can probably Google.
But this is what I copy pasted
how
out
and
because
find
Right,
out.
but I want to try this one, 'cause
Right.
this data was working, although
On-
it
Is
is
that your
have a
multi,
problem, but
your multi-tool?
Let's do
this was
Just
the last
Well,
successful one I was
I
typing
in
on.
here for a
Oh,
long time. I'm trying to find it.
I still have my Q-tip on my, not Q-tips, my.
If I was camping right now, I could whittle a stick and cook a marshmallow or something. Sean was showing me this YouTube video or infomercial. It was like a belt thing.
So
Oh,
that hooks a strap belt together. And then the guy was like, it has a bottle opener,
And they're deleted, but they're not.
he like strapped his firewood together and was dragging it through the wood. He like put it around his backpack and
You're gonna-
holding this thing
You're gonna
around
get
it.
that for Sean for his stocking as a stocking stuffer.
Well, it was kind of the funniest.
That was going right. That was my shift
Like
control and it hit right to there.
Yeah. Is it somehow how you
And the guy
got
kept
those
taking the
groups on there?
belt, you
It
know,
might be.
Can we shut
flipping
the
it off and
groups
doing stuff
down?
with it. I'm like, the guy's
Under-
pants should be falling down. I said, now that would be a funny
I
commercial.
have to think of some stocking stuffers for Lloyd. Maybe we'll have to get him some,
There you go. Is he an outdoors person?
well, not down in Arizona.
Does he like Arizona?
I think he likes it
No.
because it's
So
kind
now
of
there's-
like,
So
I can do whatever I want to do,
Oh,
you know? I don't know if he really cares for the heat, but it was funny, he came up here and just for the few days, oh my God, it's so cold.
Yeah, it's funny how quick you adjust.
Mhm. So, but, no, he likes it more than just, I can do whatever I want to do. When I want to do it, I can go come as I please.
But doesn't he have classes on the schedule?
there was
Yeah.
something in column
But-
one.
Ultimately, there's
Tuesday.
Yeah,
There's
now
not-
it's
there's
one
not-
and two,
well, I
three.
don't think
What
it's
is going
necessarily
on there?
that, it's basically like,
We
if
don't
I
need
choose
it
to go
anyway,
and stay out
but
until
there's
3 a.m. in the
just
morning and come
information.
home, and then
No,
get up
but I
and
need
put
that
little practice
column
and
in
start
there.
my day at 5.
Because I
I
mapped
do feel like
column
shit.
two for my here.
Oh, I didn't know where that came from.
And that was the one.
I was
that
talking to
gonna
someone
be the
and
problem.
He's
So now,
kind of like
if we go to the
re-adult
bottom,
for the first time in his life.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
I mean, even when he came back up here,
And we
you know,
delete
we
all
were
these
kind of
rows.
talking, he's like, oh, you know, my friend, you know, he's gonna come over, and I was like, okay, well, you don't wanna stay out too late, you gotta get in the morning to get your flight, and I was, oh, wow. He's like, I do it all the time down there, so I was like, okay, that might be the case.
Just
but-
feels
Then I was
up,
talking
I
to a
guess.
friend and about space and whatever else. And he's kind of like,
Really?
well,
Let's
aren't
do
you gonna wanna
this.
have space
Let's try
for,
something.
you know, when your son moves home? I'm like, you mean when he finishes college? I mean, you know what? He's like, yeah, yes. I said, oh no, you can best believe that when he comes home, he won't stay very long. I said, because ultimately there will be rules that'll stay in place. So kind of when you
So
have
now it's
that
gone
freedom,
through and identified all my blanks
And then
and they're
you
all
have
in gray. Okay,
limitation.
so this is
they
all,
wanna move back out to
so
the
the column, it's
freedom.
not pulling those
I
in
said, then I know I've
past
done my job.
19. But it is thinking
So-
that these are all
Yeah, my
blanks
daughter
down
moved
here.
back one
Yeah.
time, I think, first.
So, can we get rid of those
Maybe-
rows
maybe
below,
once.
not
I think that the month is so fun.
78, whatever that.
How's that going?
row is.
Your parents are probably hardly
I'm
at
actually,
home.
But
I've
wouldn't
been really busy.
copy and
I'm trying
pasting
to
this
still
file
maintain my
out,
friends
like,
I see. We
in
have like a
Seattle.
video
Do any of that? Like I was looking at sheet
probably
2,
3 nights,
you know,
and I
I-
just drive home, so last night I
Huh.
was like,
Well, maybe it'll help now that we've ungrouped everything and copied and pasted. So sometimes Excel's holding stuff in the background, you know, that you can't see.
I got you.
But like I said, I knew that that,
Yeah.
So it's going good, but, I mean, they don't really have the rules.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever.
I,
But it's
out of
just kind of-
courtesy, I told
Yeah.
her.
Go to special, drop down, select blanks, click OK. Now only
Yeah, I
blank
mean,
cells,
that would
click how
be
you click the home tab, you get navigate to cell section, and click delete sheet rows from drop down. I can try it that way, I guess.
You know,
Let's say navigate to cell section, delete sheet rows. I don't need
I
to go to
mentioned
special, I can
yesterday
just do
about
a
how the
shift
All the
control
ranger on
and, right?
the groomers
And then just
outside.
go to cell.
Possible ranger.
I've never done it through a.
And then
Oh, here it is.
Sean
delete
found another picture of
sheet
him, like, so if you go
rows.
to one of the links under one of the services, he's on the
So are you
cutting,
getting royalty for that?
cutting table. I said something to Sean, I said, I think that's weird that they don't, didn't ask.
do?
Maybe
Put his
part of
signature
that,
on there?
maybe part of that thing that you sign authorizing, the services to be done.
The receipt or the check, I mean, so he's like, he was, no, I don't think that's weird, I think it's cool that they think he's, you know, cute enough to put on there. And I'm like, well, I think it's weird that they just didn't ask. And he goes, it's not like he's in the witness protection program.
Or an underage child.
He's like, oh shoot, we gotta move. He's on out.
Well, so maybe we
not
can
like-
copy and
it's
paste,
not
now
like
that
all
we've
of a
got
sudden,
rid of
you know,
our
his
groupings and
dog
all
picture
those
will be
weird
pulled over
things.
his
I'm
front
trying,
side or
maybe
something.
we can grab
Or
that,
like a catfish.
create sheet number 3.
He just thought it was so funny that I was like, I think they should have asked. It would have been a common courtesy. At least. Oh my
Well, I
God,
would think usually they would, but maybe they're kind of
I
like,
said, well, when I take him on Saturday, we're at the point that maybe I'll be asking
Or
for.
new sheet or do it self? Do new sheet.
New sheet is fine, I would think, so we don't have any
Yeah, there's a, you go link to services.
any
it's on
groups
there,
or
cutting people.
anything, so it shouldn't be
That's him
seeing
skinning it.
anything.
Like, oh yeah, that's him for sure.
Let's go just save this. Now, let's file save that,
I mean, there's other dogs. There's,
and we'll
various
go
pictures
into
throughout the
the
file,
tab
but I'm
for
like,
limited
I think
text.
that's right. And then when you go to that one, oh yeah, that one is for sure.
And revise, okay, 2.0, yeah, whatever.
Or 20.
My
There we
Christmas
go.
decorations so far.
Okay,
These
now
was
close
some,
out of here.
Wreaths through some
Now
school
it's
program or whatever,
import.
so I ordered it. and got it
And
last
is
week.
my
I don't have an
template.
actual hanger thing on my door, on my front door. So
Actually, the import ID,
In my
call
garage,
this something different,
hanging
call this
on.
EM
It's
one,
just
that's
outside
like once, right?
the chest doors thing that I have.
Well, it's not trying to
You just put a
overwrite
thick
one.
ribbon through it and then just tack it on the top.
There, we're starting line 1, right? Or did, we didn't know, we kept the header from this one, right?
Put
Twine,
two there.
twine.
Maybe a bungee, maybe a
Okay.
bungee cord.
I have wrapping.
Now we get our hair, though.
Storage unit over there.
Invalid link.
there and makes more.
Yeah, I've noticed my plastic, I have one of
So
those tall
one,
ones.
it's not a very good error message, but it came up immediately after reading the data.
Invalid length printout passes after substring. Substring basically is a substitute string. Left and right functions are all string manipulation. So it looks like we have something that's
Too
long
long
for
for
the field, yeah.
So close out of
So
here.
what's this? Procedure BSP HQ format multi-part server. You don't have to go any further down. AMB something. Oh, that's the server name. So it's HQ format multi-part. So yeah, it's a format of one of our sales is too much.
Yeah.
Turkey up.
Okay.
So cancel
Well,
out of
actually,
here.
winter
for a
time for
second.
him.
He kind of
You look
started
at the work edit
foreseeing
for
where
just a
the
second.
drama was coming, so you could get into the back bedroom was kind of, back there. and
So-
stuff, but yeah.
There's my equipment. My phase group, license plate.
So did you get your explanation?
Scroll down.
No,
Oh,
I feel like it needs to be
Good to go, there's your yes,
Sitting on that.
yes
thing.
stuff in there.
Why am I?
Well, I mean, the simple
I guess
answer
I've got
is
another
there is
possible.
the-
No,
where
Right.
it's your job.
No, everything's
Good to
here.
go past number.
Right,
That's
it's
just-
not that,
Just maintenance.
it's
Blank.
not, that's like,
So,
that's a
if you
bill.
click
right?
into here-
There's some other embedded costs.
Well, that's what I-
And scroll to your right.
Oh, that's
It'll find
I gotcha.
one, if it would be available on the next one, so you'd have to just get to one that has one, to read
There
the
it is.
data.
I don't know.
So what's happening in my template, one of my values
The problem is
exceeds the
Justin trying to help him,
limitations
Justin
of
doesn't
the
know he's
thing.
Yeah.
Let's set this one to 20.
Because we had a whole
15,
big
so
customer
that's
met,
not
and
that-
Justin was trying to
It's a
help him.
subtle
and
thing
Justin didn't know.
somewhere.
And then Justin was telling me, I don't understand
Value.
why I have the cost on these task
So
codes, because I
it's
didn't put
not
budget
seeing
notes.
my company,
And I'm like, well,
my base
so I'm looking
group,
at his list, I'm like, well,
because this is.
these
what
task
we'll
codes
do,
are the
201
task codes that we use for
defines
these type
the
of
company.
charges.
So that
So shipping,
has
freight,
to look
material
under the bid
management,
number, so we're
office,
getting close,
other.
cancel out
So
of
there's,
here.
things
So what
that are
we gotta
running through
do
his job.
is go by
where
template.
are
So
the
the problem
default
is with the
passcodes for
template.
certain charges.
Template
He
detail.
didn't put hours or dollars.
Actually,
to
you're in
them
there
on the
already.
budget.
So actually,
I'm trying to
oh,
find
and
out
it imported,
what
so
it
it
Like, well, we should
remembered
probably
where
meet
you
and
were
talk
at.
about this,
Oh,
because,
Ah,
just because you didn't
okay.
put hours in budget.
So I'm
there.
saying 201
Right, and it
for
doesn't,
the EM.
I was trying to explain to him that when you're putting payroll in or invoices or POs in, somebody's not gonna look and pull down and double
Deselect
check that
override
that had a
import
budget or an hour code on every
thing
single
right
job.
there. So let's go ahead and deselect that. Deselect
Right, it's different.
that.
So, and so he
Material
goes, oh, okay,
group.
you know,
Let's
that kind of
deselect
makes sense,
that.
yeah, that part.
Customer group,
But it's kind of like
check,
blind leading the blind.
description,
just
check.
trying to
Customer
decide.
group check, you said?
no, just deselect that. Coming down, status is active, type is gonna be default, category is good, department is good, location is not required, shop's not required. 1 and 6, notes are sitting in 10 in my
Yeah,
record
it's almost
column.
like there's like a secret
Payroll company, deselect
accounting
check.
cost
Operators not required, job cost.
that will keep it on the down low, and then they only get the,
Accounting
Let's
cost is
see what
this,
else we
but
got.
but the
Job, I
job
don't
cost.
need it, job date, I don't need it. License numbers are 5, Washington, expiration 6.
That's what
It's
I'm
not
wondering.
needed.
Yeah,
Hour,
because I know there's something,
reading
their
date,
program was more
not needed,
sophisticated
but
than
price,
this.
I'm done with reading, none. Price fuel used. Scroll down right here just to, okay, fuel, hold up here for just a second. Fuel type,
Well,
fuel
and it is just a mechanism
capacity
to-
to measure.
for
Right here, please,
Mhm.
put in
Yeah.
capital
and
GAL,
to charge the client.
which is for gallons.
the use
Okay,
of
I mean,
our
it's-
own
weight,
tools.
unit
Yeah, I mean,
measure.
it's kind of the
We're not gonna
equivalent,
put anything there,
charging a project
capacity,
manager
volume,
hours.
unit measure,
you know, you're kind of
tear weight,
charging
height,
actual
wheelbase,
the
attached
additional
equipment.
costs for that
Scroll
person to
down
work for
just a
you
little bit
to offset your
more.
overhead. It's just the equivalent.
Capitalized, tire size, purchase date, AP, company. Purchase price, deselect that. And deselect that, put in 0 here, because we'll just make sure that if it's a price, it's a 0 value. Residual values, scroll down here. Anything else needing a 0, 60 expected life. Right. So put in 1, I'll put in 0 there. And hit save. Okay. Now
Sell
let's,
price.
let's deselect that and put in 0. Oops. And deselect that little stinker. And hit save. Now let's import that thing. So import. And so browse, that's perfect. Now it's remembering us because, and the one we just did was called Rev 20. And look, ooh, we need to start on 2, just because our top, we can change that, but hit execute. Yep. There's data types. HQ, multi-time.
Wish I could see more of this.
Server. So there's a SQL statement that's writing that thing, and it's called the procedure ESP HQ format multi-part. Cancel out of here for
It's
just a
code
second.
format, right?
Cancel out of here for just a second. Go into equipment programs. Hit EM equipment, please. Up at the top, hit F3. And go to property values. Input. And text. Cancel out of here.
Be this one.
Go to category. And now, let me try something real quick. I changed that to 10 left just
Isaac
to
has
find.
one.
I think
I
I
thought he
can
had two different
default
color
it back
shoes.
to the other
He does.
one.
I thought he had a red Converse and a
So
green
let's
Converse.
go
Well, they took a picture of
to
my
this. And let's go to that. Check your safe password too.
So did you give them an answer on the labor cost? That seemed to make sense to them? Or is that still on there?
Well, I gave him an answer, but I just figured out the cost per hour for each individual title that he gave me.
Oh,
But it didn't, I think at that point I was still confused.
used, okay.
And then when he said the tool question, then I was like, oh, he must,
Would
I
you
don't
get
know,
10?
he thinks, doesn't realize that what his job is,
That was
is
in
actual
there.
cost.
Hit save. So the input mask is 10 on that.
Just like the others, you know?
Input mask. So now, I got a few more steps.
Like 20. Mhm.
You know, it's so frustrating that that email from Justin about there's a vendor that he had me set up to issue a PO to.
Mhm.
So he issues the PO, and then they come back and say, oh, well,
We need a
you
credit
have to
card.
put it on a credit card before we'll process your order.
And
So
why
we have
don't
to set up in the system, it's a complete waste of time. Like if you're gonna extend credit. If you're not, then
Do you see Isaac?
I'm saying 10.
oh, what is?
Joe doesn't require that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something on the shirt, I just can't.
Oh, you
see it.
can't open it.
So it can be a multi-part, but we're not using it
So
in
is-
that situation.
Is Kim
So
Vaughn
we
actually
decided not to use a multi-part one, remember when we just said that?
Mhm.
That's a regular
So
store.
in that little
I mean, I
thing,
can't
it
talk.
is
I'm
a
not good at
multi-part.
No, I'm just
So when
saying
we
that,
created
She
that
has a scarf around her neck
string,
and hat.
oh, is that what, okay.
And Danielle's
So,
wearing
for
black and white
instance,
dress,
when I go into the
but she was cooking too.
I
account,
forced my mom to participate.
that's a multi-part, that's got all that stuff.
I didn't have to force her that.
When I go into.
Well, last year they took it in
the
sweaters.
No, last year my dad was And they didn't break in here.
Oh, the reindeer. It was the year before they had the matching
She
Seahawks.
always
Job,
buys
and then there's one
and,
multi-part
thinks
in
that's good.
there.
Like, oh, he'll- I
So
figured out.
then I
I
go
don't
to
need to.
my
Yeah, you do.
material,
As the owners of the company, it says
material.
Margaret.
Still a string, but with an override.
As an owner of the company?
Right, but it's sitting in there as a
I knew what she.
No, I know.
Or,
Seems like the difference is it doesn't have a standard input mask
As a
like
team lead
multi-parts do.
or
It's
assistant
override.
lead. That's a good example.
An assistant to an assistant to an assistant.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
I'm gonna note down the word
This
chart.
thing going back into the
I could loan you my
equipment. My equipment.
I'm getting together
is
with friends next
string,
week to go hit some craft
and
fairs or whatever else. It's like maybe I can
string.
pick something up for,
Override.
maybe New
And
Year's.
then it's 10 because we're just doing it 10 left.
She's gonna be the rebellious one.
Why don't you
Do
look
it
at
on some
override?
off day. Come in some good getup.
I'll come in July. I'll come in July. I'll come in July with my.
Yeah, the front load,
my
that's
ugly
override
sweater.
category,
In
the
July.
override input mask.
Look what they got for
Top
clearance,
right.
good, $5.
Which one?
Really, I think to bring my extras and I hand them out.
Where all the material ones had override input mask.
But I didn't know where I put them this year. They were packed
But
up
they're
packed up.
somewhere.
Oh, it's still
I
multi-part.
think I kept them out, I just don't know where.
Well, and when Brian was here from Glacier, we were walking to the lunchroom that one night, and he was like, "Oh, I'm surprised when you're talking. And it was so cute.
Now, if
I
you're
know
material
I
ones,
was.
the star mat,
I think
I think
he
they all
saw you
had
sitting
override
there or
input
something,
mask.
no, night or something, and I
But
said,
it's not
well, that's
filled
not
with
her
full.
desk. I said that she has
So, yeah,
a,
look
like
at that
the
one.
Microsoft campus. I said, "She was
Which is
very
actually.
temporary."
Oh,
Even
This
worse.
one we
We won't tell.
I kept that part on the down low.
Yeah, I mean, you should have Charlie's office.
So that's been.
It
Yeah.
bothers Jeannie that I, live there. She's like, you need to move across,
So
and I'm
now
like, it's all set up
equipment,
now. Like, for a while I was jumping around everyone, and it's like, where's all that? And you're like, okay, I'll
As
have
you were upstairs.
And I get kicked out, sometimes I'm like, okay, that means I'm taking unoccupied, like, a
Yeah.
desk no one
No
would
one will
want,
know.
and no one's gonna take.
Good.
And then
So
Patrol
that
points
Anyway,
mask,
I bought the
when I went
and
and
that was
reset
fine.
it, it took me time yesterday to
Well, it's
the
funny, I was
new
talking to Chris
Look at
today.
that.
category
I was like, oh,
mask.
those for you secure their office.
So
She's like,
now when I
I'm
go
not
to
even
the
up
work
out.
edit.
It's like, I
and
know
go
you love
here,
server. Or she'll have to go to the
all
job
this
site.
stuff is
I know, but
sitting in here. So there's my category, that likes that, likes that.
Was never set
Scroll
up
through my
correctly, and I was
records,
mixing things, like, and it's just
liking
working on my
that.
laptop.
well, there's 2 at once coming up.
Well, that's just kind of some default groups in Howard and Test Company 201. I just had that default into there, so it's kind of saying you go to the test company with that, which is good.
Okay.
So actually, I'm in good shape right now, so all I gotta do is kind of go in and
Maybe it's
upload
just like
these
a Christmas
77
t-shirt.
items.
I'm sure it is, I just.
And now I'm
switched
successful,
between
but I messed up the mask when I went in there at quitting time and put that little override 10 in there, and it had a cowl about that and gave me that little
I was gonna say they don't have
H2
Greg, but they said they're
masking
sending
thing.
one.
So when you were sitting at the bottom, I'm like, I messed up the mask.
I didn't make
when I went in there
much of it
yesterday.
either.
So now,
Oh, yeah. That's because
when
you
you
went
go
back.
into the
I
EMC,
have
there's
back
lots of
and
stuff in
forth
SQL to make
Keith
sure
Crusader.
you
She
don't
looks
mess
like
up something.
modeling.
And it was going to that
When I first-
elevation.
When I first left, it was,
As we did
so funny, 'cause
this.
it's kind of
There we
like.
go.
So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
including all that other stuff
Like
over
a
here.
fly girl,
I
fly
got
girl
all
thing going
yeah.
on there.